Hi everyone, it's Helen from Heritage Organic Seeds and I'm here at the allotment today in the greenhouse and I'm going to show you how I sow my broad beans. Today we are going to be sowing our Broad Bean Super Aquadulce. Broad beans are great to grow in your kitchen gardens or allotment. They're so easy and you can get them started now. This particular variety you can actually sow in the autumn. They're really hardy to about -11, so you can either sow them in the autumn direct into the soil where they will overwinter, or I actually prefer to sow them in pots and keep them in the greenhouse just because it's so wet up here in Cheshire. I just feel I have that bit of extra control by sowing them in pots. That being said, you can also sow them now. It's not too late. So we're going to sow ours in pots today. So I've got my 9cm pots. If you want to sow them into the ground, if you prefer doing it that way, it's absolutely fine. I would say just wait a little bit longer if that's what you want to do though. Start doing that from about March when the temperatures warm up a bit and the soil warms up. March right through to about early May, and you'll still get a great harvest. Extend the season, you know, even if you're sowing them in pots now, feel free to sow more as the season gets warmed up, it gets going. And yeah, and then you can have broad beans all summer. I don't know if you guys sow broad beans yourselves. I really like them in salads, or I like to make like a nice dip, sort of similar to hummus, and have it on a nice piece of sourdough. So let's get started. So I'm going to take a pot. I'm going to fill it with soil. Now I tend to mix my compost, and tend to mix perlite into my compost just to help with aeration and drainage. It's not necessary, it's just something over the years I've learned works really well, because I often find if you leave things in pots too long, the soil gets quite compacted and quite hard, and then it kind of gets really hard around the roots. So I always have a lot more success when I do it with a bit of perlite. So let's open our seeds. Broad bean seeds are so pretty as well. So let me show you. A bit weird and wonderful. So they're quite large, and then you'll see there's like a little eye on the end, so you want to sow it with the eye pointing downwards because that's where your roots are going to come out from. So we're going to take our pot, take our broad bean and just pop it in. You want to sow them about 5cm deep, so probably about the length of my finger. It's quite deep, and that is all there is to it. Give it a little water and watch it grow. We are going to plant these out once they've put on some growth. Plant them out in the spring, so probably sometime in March maybe. Just see what the weather's doing, how things are looking. When we plant them out, we want to put them about 20 to 25cm apart. So if you are direct sowing, bear that in mind. You want to sow them about that distance as well. Broad beans will need some supports as they grow, so get some bamboo canes or something, and I do 1 cane per plant, or if you do them in like a grid format and then have your string going around, the string will also help. So if you haven't got that many canes, there is ways to keep your plant supported. Yeah, and that is about all there is to it. Enjoy!